which we are going to do today, Krishna talks of working without attachment to the fruitive results. And the second part of the second half is Arjuna asks Krishna, what is the characteristics of a person who's having steady transcendental intelligence? So with that, we can go on to do verses from the second chapter. Where we left at 40? I think 37. Okay, 37.
Yeah, 37.
Thank you. So, and page number is... We completed 37 or 30? Or we have to start from 37? We completed 37, correct. That's what I thought. Text 38. It's on page 110 for this book. Is everybody same? 110? What's the page number? 110. Okay, all right. So kindly repeat after me. Sukha dukhe same kritva labha labhau jaya jaya tato yuddhaya yujyasva naivam papam avapsyasi. Mansi Mati, where would you? Yeah, and then we can go like this. Then Adinath, you can go.
Translation: Do thou fight for the sake of fighting, without considering happiness or distress, loss or gain, victory or defeat. And by so doing, you shall never incur sin.
Thank you. Text 39. Esha te bihita sankhye buddhir yoge tvimam shrunu buddhya yukto yaya partha karma bandham prahasyasi.
Translation: Thus far I have described this knowledge to you through analytical study. Now listen as I explain it in terms of working without fruitive results. O son of Pritha, when you act in such knowledge, you can free yourself from the bondage of works.
Thank you. So in the last two verses, Krishna talks of incurring sin and bondage of work, right? He says, do thou fight for the sake of fighting without considering loss or gain or victory or defeat. By doing so, you will not incur sin. And in this, he says, you will be released from bondage of work. So please understand that I have been in this world since time immemorial. I have taken on billions upon billions and billions of bodies. And in each of the bodies, I have done good and bad deeds. And whatever my next life is going to be, it is dependent on the kind of work that I do today. It is inevitable. You might, I'm not sure. Well, the fact of the matter is, I didn't get, but if anybody get it, let me know. Did you get a menu card before you were born? Which country you want to be born? Rich or poor, man or woman, fair skin or dark skin, economically wealthy or economically poor. If you had gotten a menu card, none of us would be poor or ugly or whatever. Yes or yes? But the fact is that we are born with who we are, which means that I exist today without my choice, and when I pass away from this world, I leave this body, as is the experience of everybody who is leaving this world, which means I'll get another body without I having much say in it. The only say I have is that what sort of activities I can perform in this world. Krishna is saying that if you perform activities that bind you to this world, next life you will be getting a similar body. So the art of working in this world is to not get attached. I'll give a simple example. So I'll pick on Mansi Mataji and Raghavacharya Prabhu. They and Roshni and what's your son's name, Mata? Riyansh, thank you. Roshni and Riyansh, they go to Hawaii. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful place. They booked, burnt out at Palo Alto. I need to relax in Hawaii. They go to Hawaii, and it's a nice suite right on the beach. You can see, the sun is setting, the palm trees are there. The weather is perfect, and they get into the hotel. They check in, put the luggage. And Raghav Prabhu says, okay, I'm going to the hardware store. And she says, good idea, I'm going to the furniture store. Why? I don't like the color of these walls. Let's break them down and paint it nicely a little bit. And she'll say, yes, I hate this furniture. Look at this furniture. Do you do that? You go, there is a purpose that you go to the suite. You get it done, because they'll never do that, because they're highly intelligent, evolved souls. But I'm just giving as an example. So in this world as well, Krishna is saying it is pretty much like you come and you go. So do what you need to do to maintain yourself without getting unnecessarily entangled. You can do that in the Hawaii hotel suite, but you will have to pay a lot of charges, yes or yes. So same way, Krishna is saying you are just traveling in this world. So do what you need to do. But you need to do something. Krishna is not saying you should not do anything. You need to do, but understand the nature of this world and do minimum so that you are not entangled. So they nicely go as normal tourists. They don't break anything. They don't touch anything. So they do their stuff. They enjoy and they come back. So it's just the nature of this world. So Krishna is saying that there is an art of working without getting entangled. All right, let's do a few more verses. I'll take questions. Text 40. And you might say, look, great theory. Well, what's in for me? What's my return on investment? Right? So Krishna is saying in the next verse, 40. Neha vikramanashosti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayad. Satya Sankalpa.
In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear.
Thank you. This is Krishna's guarantee. That he's saying a little bit of advancement, a little bit of progress in this spiritual path can really give the freedom from, such fear. Because if for ordinary people, the fear is like what's going to happen in future. And that is a constant fear. Even if you are a president of United States, your fear is like, what will be my legacy? Should I build a library? Should I build this? You can see how everybody is consumed by this fear. And Krishna is saying, if you perform a little bit of yoga, then it gives you freedom from this greatest fear. Because you are situated at least in the fact that, personally, I'm never going to die. I give one more example. Actually, we did talk of two examples, but the one more example is, there is a movie shoot that's going on, and there is a person, and it's a movie about the medieval times, and the person is playing the role of a king. As long as the movie sets are there and the movie is going on, then he'll be really like a king. I mean, he's like, hey, come here, do this, and then yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. After the camera is done, if he calls like that, then it's a problem, yes or yes. Like, okay, sir, now the wardrobe people are saying you should return your dress back because it's pretty expensive. It costs $10,000. Oh, no, this is mine. then you have a problem because of the simple fact. But the problem is 99.99% of the time, that is what the world is going under. That somehow I identify myself with the role that I have been playing here, and the fear comes when I have to give up that role. Similarly, Krishna is saying, don't fear, because you are not that king. You are just there as long as the movie set is on, or it's for a temporary phase of time. And and then the person is actually normal person. The actor will say, yes, sure, this, are you guys kidding me? Why did you give me this dress? This is hot. I'm ready to take it off and go back to my home and be happy. But if you are under the illusion that I am the king on the set and that's my only identity, then you'll have a serious problem. Yes or yes? Same thing. Text 41. Vyavasayatmika buddhir ekeha kuru nandana bahushaka hyanantascha buddhayo vyavasayinam. Vaishnava Toshini Prabhu.
Those who are on this path are resolute in purpose, and their aim is one. O beloved child of the Kurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branched.
Thank you. The next few verses are pretty interesting for those who talk of Vedas, and Vedas being Hare Krishna. Oh, thank you. That's thank you. Thank you, Ramananda Sakaprabhu. So for the next few verses, it can be a little shocking. Okay, here is the thing. The word Vedas, Shweta, what is the first thing that comes? Just go for it. Just words. Just no mic. Just give me Vedas. Any one word. Rig Veda. Vedas. If I say Vedas, what is the first reaction that comes? Knowledge. Superior knowledge. Very ancient. Manual for material world. Actually, can you not play here, please? Riyansh, can you play there? Thank you. It's ancient, it's pure, it's word of God, yes or yes? But here, God is having a problem with his own word. Let's read a few more verses and I'll talk what I'm talking about. And probably in the modern time, this is not much applicable, and I'll explain why as well. 42, 43. Yamimam pushpitam vacham pravadantya vipaschitaha Vedavadarata partha Nanyad astiti vadinaha Kamatmana svargapara Janma karma falapradam Kriya vishesha bahulam Bhogaishvarya gatim prati. Okay.
Men of small knowledge are very much attached to the flowery words of the Vedas, which recommend various fruitive activities for elevation to heavenly planets. resultant good birth, power, and so forth. Being desirous of sense gratification and opulent life, they say that there is nothing more than this.
Thank you. 44. Bhogaishvarya prasaktanam taya pahrita chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhi samadau na vidhiyate. Back row, Vicky and others. You want to take? Okay, well, please do it. Ayush and Aishwarya. Sorry, I'll get it. It's there is a batteries, right? There is the AA and the AAA. You are the AA battery couple. Don't mind my message.
In the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence, and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place.
Thank you. Text 45. Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna Nirdvandvo Nitya Sattvasto Niryogakshema Atmavan.
The Vedas deal mainly with the subject of the three modes of material nature. O Arjuna, become transcendental to these three modes. Be free from all dualities and from all anxieties for gain and safety, and be established in the self.
Thank you. One last verse and then we'll discuss a little bit. Yavanartha udapane sarvata samplutodake tavan sarveshu vedeshu brahmanasya vijanataha.
All purposes served by a small well can at once be served by a great reservoir of water. Similarly, all the purposes of the Vedas can be served to one who knows the purpose behind them. Thank you.
Thank you. So, quick primer on the Vedas. The Vedas are word of God and they emanate from Vishnu himself. And that's why they are called not authored by any person in this world. But Vedas actually encompass all the knowledge that exists, both material and spiritual. And Vedas have three divisions. The first division is called the Karma Kanda. Karma Kanda is full of sacrifices and full of heavenly enticements. You do this, you will get this. For example, if you want to go and enjoy heaven, and if you read the enjoyment of heaven, you will think, that's it. There is nothing better than that. The heavenly planets are quite amazing. I'll tell you why. First of all, you want to sell any medical products, good luck, because nobody falls sick there. You want to sell deodorants, again, good luck, no bodily smells. You want to sell senior citizens, what's that old age homes that is called here? Sorry, senior living? Senior care, good luck, you won't get that. You want to sell diapers? Good luck. You can have as much union between man and women, and there is only one time a child is born and they immediately grow up. So don't worry about college funds. And you can have so many gardens and parks, and everybody has their own private jet. Here people have to work like really hard and make like enormous amount of money to have private jets. And that too is a major problem after that. But there everybody will have their own jet. And it is said that it is made of nice bells that they go around. They just don't worry about noise and fuel and pollution, nothing. It'll just take you wherever you need to go. And beautiful heavenly women and beautiful male for the women. It is a great life. But the problem with that life is this. As soon as the results of one's pious activities are done, your credit card runs out, then the creditors will start chasing you. As in, your credit runs out, pious credits, then you will fall back to this world. Again, you have to go back. So Krishna is saying, those who are attracted by these flowery words of Vedas, that I need power, progeny, wealth, much more excitement, then, they can't see beyond the material world. I'll give one example. If you are in a prison and there is C-class cells, there is the B-class cells, and there is the A-class cell. The prisoner goes into the C-class cell. It's horrible. The toilets are cleaned once a year. And what cell needs 2 people? There are 7 people there. Barely you can sleep without hitting each other. And you just don't have any shower facilities, so everybody stinks. The prisoner says, this is outrageous, this is inhuman. He goes to the warden, tell me what should I do? And he says, you should do this. Then I can upgrade you to the 2nd class cell. Oh, nice. And what is there in 2nd class cell? Well, only 2 people. And the toilets are cleaned every day. But still visible. What is there? And it's in a location where it's not hitting sunlight. So summers, I promise you that without AC also, the weather will be okay. Nice idea. Let me go. And then people do that. And then they jump to the 2nd class. My God, I heard something better. There is a class A cell. It has doors. You have your own TV. And if you get lucky, you get internet. Food, it seems, is slightly better. So you can see that in spite of all these activities, you are still in where? Thank you. So Krishna is saying, don't be trapped in this cycle of Vedas which promise nice rewards, because those rewards are still in the realm of material existence. He's saying, Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna Nirdvandvo Nitya Sattvastvo Niryoga Kshema Atmavan. He says that the Vedas are dealing with mainly the subject matter of 3 modes of material nature. And oh boy, we will discuss the 3 modes of material nature in the 14th and the 17th chapters extensively. Just another primer on the 3 modes of material nature is that, did you ever wonder, sometimes people say, oh my God, I felt so peaceful in the morning, I was meditating and my mind was fresh and, the whole world seemed happy. And then come in the afternoon, then you are just running around, chasing, and the night is like, I can't move a muscle. So the modes of material nature act. In the morning, usually mode of goodness. Afternoon, it's usually passion. And in the evening, the mode of ignorance comes. So these modes continuously act on the living entities. And they are important, don't get me wrong. It's not, and while mode of goodness is better, other modes have their place, but we'll discuss when it comes to it. This is a very important point. Please note that point about modes of material nature, because they actually determine, they give the human being the free will to actually do something about their life. If the nutshell is, if you die in the mode of ignorance, then you take birth among the animal kingdom and ghostly beings. If you die in the mode of passion, you are born, take birth amongst the mode of passion. And if you are dying in the mode of goodness, then you take birth among the sages and the demigods. So based on your activities, you can situate yourself in one mode or other so that you can make progress in spiritual life. And that is an exclusive, that is only possible in the human form of life. That we all hit a jackpot of the Powerball of multi-trillion dollars. Because in this human form of life, I can understand what my situation is, what I need to act, what I need to do to kind of permanently escape the prison that is this material world. Otherwise, we'll keep jumping from prison cell C to A to B, somehow or other adjusting my situation, I'll be okay. No, Krishna is saying don't do that. You have come to this human form of life, the potential is much higher to kind of advance spiritually. So far, so good? Okay. Once that row completes, the Vaishnavis in the back, then we can go online to ask devotees to read. The next verse is actually for those who are not from India. The next verse, Kennedy and Vicky, it's used a lot in India and it's royally abused. And I'll tell you why. It's the second chapter, 47. It's good to see online all the devotees. I welcome them as well. Sukomala Radha, Kripatita, Haribao, and then Devi Gaurangi, Ryan, Tapomai, Tarun Krishna. It's so beautiful. Naveen, Renu. What's the name of the boy on the left? Ashish, Hare Krishna. All right. 47. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturbhur ma te sangostva karmani.
You have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities, and never be attached to not doing your duty.
Kennedy, would you be so kind enough to do the first paragraph of the purport, please?
There are 3 considerations here: prescribed duties, capricious work, and inaction. Prescribed duties are activities enjoined in terms of one's acquired modes of material nature. Capricious work means one's actions without the sanction of authority, and inaction means not performing one's prescribed duties. The Lord advised that Arjuna not be inactive, but that he perform his prescribed duty without being attached to the result. One who is attached to the result of his work is also the cause of the action. Thus, he is the enjoyer or sufferer of the result of such actions.
Thank you. Here, Krishna is clearly saying that if you are eagerly wanting to enjoy the results, then you will either enjoy or suffer. But if you are just doing it without attachment to the results, then you neither have enjoyment nor the suffering of the results. And you might say, okay, but how do you work? I mean, isn't that the basis or the motivation of life, to actually work? If you, right? I mean, and don't get me wrong. Tomorrow you go, employer says, hey, I read Bhagavad Gita, karmanyeva adhikaraste. I'm not going to pay you any salary. Please don't expect anything. You should Bhagavad Gita, follow it. Now that's an extreme example. We'll discuss this. But the idea here is that we do our duty without worrying too much about the result. In this material world, what's happened is you are judged upon your results, whether the credit is correctly due to you or not, yes or yes. How many people actually just want the credit without work so that they look good in the world? Internally, they are having so much of insecurity because they know that they were not 100%, I don't need to get the credit. But Krishna is saying if you keep that aside, then you can actually do the work without worrying too much about the results. We'll take the extreme cases, but so far so good. We can take some questions, comments, or answers before. All good? Satya Sankalpa Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare-
Prabhu, you mentioned there are 3 parts to the Vedas. You just mentioned Karma Kanda.
Brilliant. I was about to complete that. Thank you, Satya Sankalpa Prabhu. So there are 3 aspects or 3 divisions of the Vedas. The first is called the Karma Kanda, which is where you are exclusively dealing with the rituals for worldly or material gains. The second aspect is called the Jnana Kanda, where there is the little bit of philosophical knowledge. Jnana means to discriminate what is matter, what is spirit, and what is the difference between that. That is the Jnana Kanda. And the Upasana Kanda is the third aspect, and that deals with worship of Supreme. Though indirectly in the Brahman form. Vedas don't directly talk about Krishna directly. So Upasana Kanda mainly consists of the Upanishads, which give knowledge about God, but mainly in a Brahman form. And we do, in the first semester of Bhakti Sastri, we do the Isopanishad. You can see most of the verses, there is not mention of Krishna or flute or something like that. Is that helpful? No, thank you for asking the question. I really appreciate it.
So, Prabhu, I have a follow-up. So, in the 15th chapter, when Krishna says, I am to be known of all Vedas, then how is that possible? Because what Vedas deal with is not directly with Krishna.
Correct. Angani yasya sakalendriya vrittimanti pashyanti panti kalayanti chiram jaganti Vedeshu. Sorry, no, what is that? Vedeshu Durlabha? Venum. Okay, thank you. Venum Kwanantamaravinda Dalayataaksham Barhavatam Smavasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandarpakoti Kamaniya Visheshasho. Thank you. Who is that?
Sri Gopika Ganesha Devidas.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. I couldn't remember that first. So, Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayovanam Cha Vedeshu Durlabam Adurlabam Atma Bhaktav. So, this is one of the words from Brahma Samhita. And it is said that Vedeshu Durlabha, that you try to understand Vedas, it is impossible to get, very difficult to get through Vedas. So, Vedas will still flirt on the fringe of Krishna, but not directly go to Krishna. So that is the reason, that's why Krishna is saying that if you know me, then don't worry about Vedas. Because if you have come to somehow or other know me, then your Vedic studies are done. As long as you don't know me, then your Vedic studies are incomplete. And that's why he says, Yavanartha Udapane. He says that all the purposes that can be served by a huge reservoir can be served by a small well. Because if you know me, then Vedas become that small well. What's the point?
Thank you.
Thank you. Other questions? Mansi Mataji. Roshni, you had a question? Or you just raised the bottle like this? I'm raising. I have a bottle too. Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Mata.
Prabhuji, I have a query. So when you say those heavenly planets or heavens, are those the planets above Earth, in the 14 planetary systems? And the ones below Earth are also heaven? No. Yeah.
Excellent question. For those who didn't get the question, she is like, where are the heavenly planets? Are they like above, below, all over the place, pervading everywhere? So the Bhagavatam says that there are 3 planetary systems, which are the heavenly, the middle planets, and the lower planets. And they are in turn divided into 14. Bhurva, Swarga. So those are the upper. The Earth is in the middle. Earth is neither heavenly planets nor in the hellish planets. But below the earth, then there are other planets, which are subterranean planets, where after a stage, the sun won't even reach those planets. So, and then as you go down and down, then last is the hellish planets. So, this universe is like a football. And half of that football is filled with water. So, there Lord Vishnu is lying on that ocean. And from him, Brahma comes, and there is a whole upper, lower planetary systems are there. The lowermost place is the hellish planet. Then there is Rasatala, Talatala, Mahitala, all those, and then the hellish planets come. That is the thing. In the subterranean planets, there is what is called Bilvasvarga, which means that it's like heaven but not heaven. And Hanumat Pechak Maharaj says, it's like, I asked Maharaj once, what do you mean by that? He said, imagine a casino in Las Vegas. Its lights are dazzling and it seems like everything is going on. It's kind of something like that. I said, okay, thank you, Maharaj.
So there is enjoyment in all those planets.
Yeah, varieties places, there are enjoyment and sufferings.
And they don't suffer for there is no result for their action. They just enjoy. Whoever goes to these planets, upper or below, they just enjoy the...
No. Anywhere in this material existence, there is no place that is free from suffering. Even in the even the heavenly planets, the demigods are always worried. When will the next Hiranyakashipu come? Indra, all he has to know is this particular sage is doing severe austerities. He has to make sure he has to spoil that so that he will not take my position. There is no place. Krishna is saying there is no place in this world that is free of suffering. Even in the Bilvasvarga that Bhagavatam mentions, it seems life is great. And they don't have any fear of anything except death that can come immediately. It's even worse. Here, at least on the earth planet, we have the awareness. The other places, the opulence is so much, the awareness is not there till it actually happens. So this earth is mixed. So it's better to be on the earthly planet. So you know. It seems frustrating, but yeah. Is that helpful?
Yet, I was wondering, yet we aspire to go to heavenly planets, even though there is so much suffering there also.
Suffering is in a different anxiety. Let me put it the word anxiety. It's suffering, not physical suffering. Like, diabetes is a problem, blood pressure. We might not have it all in the heavenly planet, but the anxiety, my time is running out. Just like, I'll pick on the other example. You go to Hawaii with your family and you are there for 10 days. The first day, amazing. The last day, you are like, you have to go back. Something like that. Shweta.
Yeah, I have a question. So I'm coming from the Satyanarayana Puja at my cousin's place, and there was a story that was read today, which said that the king who lived, he and his wife, they performed the Satyanarayana Puja and then they achieved the Satya Loka. They went to the Satya Loka. So my question is doing these Satyanarayana Puja, which is still, Narayana, Lord Narayana, and they were taken to Satya Loka. It is still the heavenly planet. It's still not Vaikuntha. Is that prescribed in the Vedas?
Krishna says when we come to the 7th chapter, which will come in the first semester, because we'll do 9 chapters, he says that 4 types of people surrender unto me. So, Chaturvida bhajante mam janaha sukritano arjuna artho jignyasurartarthi jnani cha bhartarshava. The translation is, O Arjuna, 4 types of people surrender unto me. Those who are distressed, those who are in need of wealth, those who are inquisitive, and those who are already in knowledge. So, approaching Krishna is not just for a person. Everybody can approach him with their own problems, and Krishna will fulfill accordingly. Approaching Krishna for material solutions might not be the best use of Krishna, but nevertheless, Krishna is merciful. that, even though one has material problems, one can approach Krishna, but he will do it in such a way that you won't ask again. Seriously. I'll tell you why. It's a short story. How are we doing on time? We started a little late. Okay, I'll tell the story for 3 minutes. So there was a king called Uttanapada, and he had 2 wives, Suniti and Suruchi. This was way, many millennia years ago. Because Uttanapada was son of Swayambhu Manu. And then Suruchi was the favorite queen of the king. Suniti was pious, but not favorite. Suruchi had a son called Uttama, and Suniti had a son called Dhruva. Both were the same age, 5 years. Uttama climbed the lap of his father, the king, and Dhruva, and siblings, you know that, right? If one does one thing, other wants the same thing or no? So Dhruva said, okay, he also tried to climb the lap of his father. But Suruchi, his stepmother, she became outraged. She said, how dare, I am the favorite queen of this king. How dare you try to climb the lap of your father when my son is there. In fact, she uses harsh words. She says that if you ever want to climb the lap of your father, you die and take birth from my womb again. And she was very harsh. 5-year-old Dhruva, being a Kshatriya, he couldn't take this. His face became pale, his lips trembled, and breathing became heavy, and he rushed to his mother. He says, this is what happened, please. And mother said, while what happened is true, but unfortunate, but it's true. I'm not even on the level of a maidservant of your father. Forget being his queen, because Suruchi is the favorite queen. Like, I need to get even. I need to get a kingdom better than my father's to kind of show to my father what I am. Well, I can't help you much, but it is said that God can help you. Really, where is the God? I need to meet that God. Well, their sages have met him in the forest somewhere. Okay, I'm off to forest. And he goes off to forest. And in the middle, he meets Narada Muni, who imparts him education. He initially discourages him from going to forest, but later he goes to the forest. And in 6 months, Bhagavatam says that it is such an intense austerities that he performs. And within 6 months, he sees Lord Vishnu. And Lord Vishnu, he's charming. Dhruva glorifies Lord Vishnu, and Lord Vishnu says, I'll give you a planet, Dhruvaloka, which is even better than Brahma's. You take it. If Dhruva was a boy living today, he will first say to Vishnu, please show me where the planet is. There is the planet. Camera. And then I'll put it on the Facebook and Instagram, and I'll do cartwheels. Yay! 5-year-old boy. You know what was the reaction of Dhruva? He said, oh my God, what did I do? It's like this personality can cut asunder the knots of birth and death in a fraction of a second. He is that personality who, after millions of lifetimes, the sages can barely get a glimpse. He has come in front of me and given darshan, and I asked him, please give me more material stuff. And Dhruva, so Krishna can give, but he gives in such a way that you don't ask. Dhruva's regret was not, hey, Vishnu came, he gave me Dhruvaloka. I should have asked him for 3 Dhruvalokas. One for myself, one for rental property, and one for sale. No. It's like, why did I even ask this? How foolish am I? So Krishna can give. I'll tell one more thing. Any mother, now I'll pick again on Mansi Mataji. When Roshni and Riyansh were very small, I'm pretty sure they would have asked all day long, we don't want any vegetables. We want candy, chips, and juice, sodas. And Mansi Mataji, she can give it. She has the capacity to give. She has the money to give. She has the, and they will be very happy if she gives. But does she give? No. She is like, yeah, I'll give you just one candy, but only after you eat your dinner. Yes, sir, yes. So Krishna is like that. He knows that I can give so much of wealth to the person that he completely becomes blind and rots in this material world. Just like, Roshni eating candy and chips all day long. Yes, they can do it, but the health will go for a toss. Mother knows better, so she will limit it. Same way Krishna is looking out for us to say that, I will give you, but not in a way that you will keep on asking. So yes, you do Satyanarayana Puja, you will go, but if you truly have received his mercy, he will give it to you in such a way that you will not ask him again. You will ask for his lotus feet. And he gives the lotus feet free of cost. Buy one, get one free. Is that okay? All right. Yes.
I have a question on 2.47. You never consider yourself the cause of the result of your activities. So I have a doubt for this. Like sometimes I want to go to the temple. Sometimes I don't want to go to temple because of some other works. Maybe kids are not feeling well, or I was upset, or some other reasons. So still, do I need to consider I'm not the thinking I don't want to go temple. It is someone who is acting upon me. So how can I think, or else if anything, if I want to do some activity, if it is positive, okay. If if I'm thinking negative way, okay. Oh no, I'm not. I should not think this way. This is wrong. Do I need to think that way, or else no, it's not my thinking. Someone is giving that in.
So basically, the essence of your question is, who should I blame if I don't act?
Yes.
So Krishna is here, talking of results. He's saying that, most of us are, thinking that somehow you exult when the results go your way, thinking that it's my own hard work, my own smarts, my own intelligence. It is the only cause of the results. But Krishna is saying that is not true. Don't think that you are the cause of the results. I am the cause of your results. Unless I approve, you will not get those results. So when you have failed, then Krishna also has some checkbox in it. So to not feel depressed when there is a failure, or not to kind of exult when there is success, is Krishna is talking. Regarding your question, who is to blame? It depends at that point of time. Is it like, was there an obligation? Was there an emergency? Was there things in your control? Were things beyond your control? Was it your own lack of discipline? Or was it the lack of will? So there are so many factors in just a simple action. So you can think a little more deeply, and then you can answer your own question. I'll tell you one example. If I want to go to temple, and then suddenly the phone goes ting, and then somebody sent me a Facebook something link. And, oh my God, they said, and 2 hours later, oh my God, I have been on Facebook. It's your fault. Because you didn't have the discipline to say, nope, I will see it later. But you are coming to the temple, you had a flat tire. So you can see, activity can have so many factors. And we will come to the 18th chapter. Krishna says there are 5 factors of action. It will be shocking to know that I am acting. Krishna is saying, no, there are 5 factors at place when you act. So there is that aspect. We can discuss it detail, but you have more follow-up, you can do it now. I am little worried about time. But yeah, you had a question?
Later. I'll ask later.
Yeah, later? Okay, we'll do it later. You had a question? All right.
So so this is my first time. So if it's inappropriate, I'm really sorry.
No problems.
But so I consider myself as someone who subscribes to all religions, but I'm not read in any of them. So my friend, he's a Jain, and we were just discussing, and there are sometimes we just discuss ideas. So he was like, in Jainism, they don't want to hurt anybody or any life. And so one of the points that you mentioned in the discussion, or we read in the discussion, was we don't have a choice over this life or where we are born. And while in discussion with him, he said he never wants to doesn't want to have kids because he thinks that is him imposing a life and suffering on basically a life. So what does Gita say about this, or what do the Vedas say about giving birth to a life, and is that a karam, or what is that like?
So I'll qualify my statement saying we do not have choice for the next life. We do have a choice for our next life. As I mentioned earlier, the modes of material nature are there. But your question is, giving birth to somebody, is it our choice or is it free will? What?
No, is that something, so as he thinks that this could be imposing a life on someone and imposing a suffering also in that way, is that something, is there any advice around that in Gita, or how is that thought?
You should tell your Jain friend, what about you? Did your parents impose suffering and life on you? Or would you jump off the bridge right now to end that? No, because life is given by Krishna. We are merely an instrument for that life. Krishna is using us to give life to someone. So ultimately, he is the giver of life and he is the taker of life as well. So we are just his instruments to kind of have it. Otherwise, how many parents want their children to be having 180 IQ and winning all the beauty competitions? But you get different according to what Krishna decides. Higher life decides. Is that okay?
Right, that one.
Thank you. Shweta.
Okay, Prabhu. Follow up to that question again. I was thinking about this the past couple of days about what is the point of having children. Is it from a karmic standpoint? Is having children going to allow us? We can wash off our karmic duties and attain the spiritual thing, or like what is the purpose of children? That's what I want.
Well, there is a Krishna conscious perspective and the Vedic perspective. In the Vedic perspective, when a human being is born, that person is automatically debtor to many different kinds of living entities. For example, forefathers. There are the demigods who give us sun, who give us rain. There are sages who give us knowledge. There are cows, for example. Cow milk we drink, right? We have an obligation to the cows. There are such obligations like that. And there are ways to relieve debts to different of these entities. When one has children, one pays back the debt to the forefathers. So from a pure Vedic perspective. From a Krishna conscious perspective, you have children so that we can raise them in Krishna consciousness. There is a chance I'm giving for a jiva to come to this world, and I can take care and rear him or her to be a devotee of Krishna. And so again, having or not having children is a very personal, individual choice based on so many factors with a couple. But these are the broad outlines. Okay. Yes, Mataji. Last question, and then we'll continue. I want to complete this chapter. And
it's not a question, so I was just sharing the thoughts. So my daughter just came and told me something in the ear, and I was like, what she's saying? She said, Mama, I heard that question. So is the answer is because you want to keep up the parampara?
Indeed. All right. Thank you, Mataji. That's nice. We'll do a few more verses. I'm okay with questions if there are online questions. So even if we don't get to the verses and complete the verses, we should never not get to the questions. That's my thing. Because you can read these verses at home, you can read the purports at home, which you should. But discussion like this that happens in an open forum is why we meet in the class. And one thing I have learned is If you are in the class, you will retain the information much better than reading on your own, because people will ask questions. Oh my God, yes, that person asked, what a weird question. Or like, I never think like that. So ask any questions. No question is quote unquote insignificant or not worthy. So, yeah. Cool. All right, we'll do a few more verses. 48. Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhya siddho samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate.
Perform your duty equipoised, O Arjuna, abandoning all attachment to success or failure. Such equanimity is called yoga.
Thank you. So, in yoga in the Western world means a set of, postures for body. But actually, Krishna is saying yoga is a state of mind, and this is the actual definition of yoga. 49. Durena hyavaram karma buddhi yoga dhananjaya buddhau sharanam anvichya kripana phalahetavaha.
O Dhananjaya, keep all abominable activities far distant by devotional service, and in that consciousness surrender unto the Lord. Those who want to enjoy the fruits of their work are misers.
Thank you. Text 50. And online, I think we can start with Kripatita Mataji, Ra and Devi Gaurangi, and we can go like that, and you can pick among yourself. But text 50. Buddhi yukto jahatiha ubhe sukruta dushkrute tasmad yogaya yujyasva yoga karma sukaushalam.
A man engaged in devotional service rids himself of both good and bad actions even in this life. Therefore, strive for yoga, which is the art of all work. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. As I mentioned earlier, good and bad. Even if you say, no, so there are few I will not name, but everybody is aware of a particular personality who is out of Nebraska and who's built billions of dollars. Who's that person? Warren Buffett. They have given away billions and billions of dollars in charity. That's an amazing thing. I really applaud and admire that aspect. But the fact of the matter is, even if I have given away billions of dollars, in the next life, I will enjoy those billions of dollars. So that is good and positive results. But then, for that, I have to take birth again and undergo the same thing. So Krishna is saying, get rid of both good and bad. Same thing like a prisoner saying, okay, let me bump up from class C cell to class B cell to class B cell to class A cell. You're still in the prison. So don't try to rotate around in the prison. Krishna is saying, get rid of both good and bad. Thank you. Yes, Mata. No, please. As I said, we will get to all the questions, even if you don't get to all the verses.
In verse 48 and in verse 50, is Krishna talking about the same yoga? Although in 50 he did mention devotional service, which I mean maybe he's referring to Bhakti yoga. But 48 is just...
So, all right. It's a good question. In 6th chapter of Gita, we will spend certain time on what is yoga ladder. So, so there is the base existence of a human life is completely unbridled, unrestricted. Eat whatever, just like animal, like, eat whenever, whatever, no considerations. There is no behavioral nothing. It's just do whatever you. So when the human being rises above, then at least you come to what is called the religious aspect of life, which is called the Karmakanda section of the Vedas. And that is true of every religion. Any religion that say, if you want to go to heaven, do some charity or be kind to your neighbor, so on and so forth. So that is what is called Karmakanda, or a mentality that let me actually follow something for achieving something. That is Karmakanda. After that is called Sakam Karma Yoga, which means that I will perform quote unquote devotional service. Devotional service here means I am performing work for Vishnu, but with some expectation. That is Sakama. Sa means with, Kama means results. Sakama. I want some results back. I am worshipping the Lord, I want something back. He should help me pay my rent. I'm just giving a frivolous example. But then these two verses talk of Nishkam Karma Yoga. Nishkam means, Ni means without, and Kam means desiring the results of the activities. I'll just do my activities without expecting any results. That is called Nishkam Karma Yoga. And Krishna is saying one performs these kinds of, this yoga that you perform these duties without expecting the results is called Nishkam Karma Yoga. And that's what is being discussed. When you perform that, then you will neither get the good or bad. Is that okay? Kennedy has her hands. Correct. Kennedy, and somebody please pass a mic to her. No, it's there.
Hare Krishna.
Very well.
So Krishna has said that to worship him but ask for a material result is like asking for poison. So if we have friends who would like material things, parents who would like material things, are we wishing poison on them if we wish they gain those things?
Thank you. I won't exactly characterize as a poison because sometimes I can use the poison to kill the weeds for agricultural plants. So poison is needed at that point of time for my help. The whole idea is that Krishna is saying, and please understand, he says, Chaturvida bhajante mam janaha sukritinorjuna. He says that those who are really pious and magnanimous souls, they approach me even for material benefits. So Krishna is such a gentle person that even if you approach him for material, he will not be condemning you or giving you a sidelong glance or like shooing you off or giving you a cold shoulder. Such a warm personality. I'll give you an example. I'm not making this stuff up. In the third canto of Bhagavatam, we see that there was a great sage called Kardama Muni, and he performed austerities for 10,000 years with a view of getting darshan of Lord Vishnu. And when Lord Vishnu finally comes, what does Kardama ask? Kardama Muni asks, "Oh my Lord, I shouldn't ask you, but help me get a good wife." Now, Lord Vishnu didn't face palm. You called me all the way from Vaikuntha for a wife. What's wrong with you? Even animals get male, female companions free of charge. And you call me all the way. Really? Are you serious? No. He was so gentle. Lord Vishnu said, "Yes, I know." And third day from today, Swayambhuva Manu will come. And he will give your daughter to you in marriage. And be happy, and he leaves. So he's such a magnanimous, gentle personality. And the beauty is that once you have his darshan, even though you have material aspirations, they just get dissolved by his beauty and darshan. So it is okay to ask, and please ask. Because not everybody is on the path of pure devotional service. I mean, I need this, I shouldn't ask, but where will you go? better ask him. He will make the perfect solution. Thank you. And that he says in the Gita that they're really magnanimous souls who approach me. He doesn't say they are wretched people, losers in life, they approach me. No, it's like they're magnanimous, such a wonderful souls they are approaching me. So that is Krishna. He fulfills everyone's desires in every possible way. If he is that one from everything comes, where will we go? All right, more questions. Yes, Mataji.
So did Kartab Muni said that because of confusion, or that's what he wanted?
It's what he wanted. See, Mataji, one should be completely honest before Krishna. He knows you. He has been with you since time immemorial. He knows. You might think, oh my God, I'm so clever that my face is a poker face, nobody can see it. He's right sitting in your heart. He's actually seeing your thoughts. He's accessing your thoughts. So where can you hide from him? It's better to say, Krishna, I know I shouldn't ask you, but this is my situation. Please help me. And Krishna really appreciates that sincerity. Kardama Muni said, I shouldn't be asking you, but this is my desire. Please help me. You know what was the beauty? That Kardama had 9 daughters, and he had a beautiful son, Kapila, who was Supreme Lord. After he was like, excellent, now I can enjoy my life because God came to my house. No, he said as soon as he had the 10th child, Kapila, he left. He took sannyas. So when Krishna gives something, it doesn't entangle. You still remember him. Is that okay?
All right. Thank you.
No, thank you. Okay, text 51. We have 22 verses to go. 51 or 52? Thank you. Karmajam buddhi yuktahi phalam tyaktva manishinaha Janma bandha vinirmukta padam gachyantyanāmayam.
By thus engaging in devotional service to the Lord, great sages or devotees free themselves from the results of work in the material world. In this way, they become free from the cycle of birth and death and attain the state beyond all miseries by going back to Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Is that Ryan?
Yes, Prabhu.
Haribol, Ryan. I can't see you, so right now that's why I'm just guessing your voice. 52. Yada te moha kalilam buddhir vyatitarishyati tada gantasi nirvedam shrotavyasya shrutasya cha.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, when your intelligence has passed out of the dense forest of delusion, you shall become indifferent to all that has been heard and all that is to be heard. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Text 53. Shruti vipratipannate. I'm sorry, I'll do that again. Shruti vipratipannate. Yada stasyati nischala. Samadhav achala buddhis. Tada yogam avapsyasi.
When your mind is no longer disturbed by the flowery language of the Vedas, and when it remains fixed in the trance of self-realization, then you will have attained the divine consciousness. Hare Krishna. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna. So here here the word divine consciousness is used. And when Krishna is here saying that, look, when you are beyond this material world that's entangling you, then you will be attaining the divine consciousness. And Arjuna immediately latches on to this word divine consciousness. He wants to know more details about it. Text 54. Arjuna uvacha Stita prajnasya ka bhasha Samadhistasya keshava Stitadi kim prabhasheta Kimasita vrajeta kim.
Arjuna said, "O Krishna, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged into the transcendence? How does he speak? And what is his language? How does he sit? How does he walk?"
Thank you. Text 55. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Prajahati yada kaman Sarvan parthamanogatan Atmanyevatmana tushtaha Stita prajnastadocyate. Online. So Komala, you are there?
Yeah. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "O Parth, when a man gives up all varieties of desire for sense gratification which arise from mental concoction, and when his mind, thus purified, finds satisfaction in the self alone, then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness."
Thank you. So the nature of mind is such that it's always generating different desires for happiness. The mind says, do this, you will be happy. Do that, you will be happy. Eat this, you will be happy. Go there, you will be happy. Krishna is saying that when one overcomes these urges of mind, then one is in pure consciousness. Text 56. Dukkheshvanudvignamana Sukheshu vigataspriha Vitaraga bhayakroda Stitadhir muniruchyate. Anybody online? Or, okay. Mansi Mataji.
One who is not disturbed in mind even amidst the threefold miseries, or elated when there is happiness, and who is free from attachment, fear and anger, is called a sage of steady mind.
Thank you. In fact, it is mentioned here that a sage is the one who can make so many mental concoctions and give so many things, but a Sthitadir Muni is the one who is fixed in consciousness. And let's continue. 57. Yaha sarva. Okay, good. Yeah. Yaha sarvatra nabhisneha tat prapya shubha shubham nabhinandati nadveshti tasya prajna pratishtita.
In the material world, one who is unaffected by whatever good or evil he may obtain, neither praising it nor despising it, is firmly fixed in perfect knowledge.
Thank you. I give the same example of the class A, class B, class C prison cell. So if a person goes from class C to class B, if you are a person in knowledge, you will still say, I'm in prison, I am not elated. And if you demoted from class B to class C, you will still say, okay, So it's going to be another same thing. So if you are aware of that, then you will realize that good and bad is inevitable and bound in this material world. The fact that somehow I want to cling on only to the good times, where you realize that good times will never last, there is an implicit hope for us in this verse, that as much as good times people want them to last will never last, the bad times will never last either. It's a fact. You may have to tolerate more than usual, perhaps. There is no light you see at the end of the tunnel, and you can't catch a break, as they say, boom, 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 boom. But please understand, it's just a matter of time. I mean, no troubles will last forever, as much as no good time lasts forever. 58. Yada samharate chayam kurmongani va sarvashah indriyanindriyartebhyas tasya prajna pratishtita. Sankalpa.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I will read.
Okay, go for it.
One who is able to withdraw his senses from sense objects, as the tortoise draws its limbs within the shell, is firmly fixed in perfect consciousness.
Thank you. Thank you. Often senses are loose. They want to do what they want to do, and you are waylaid. Back to question, Mataji, who to blame? Sometimes you can blame your senses. Because if I'm, anyways. In the example of tortoise is given. Once the tortoise withdraws the limbs into the shell, no matter what you do, it will not come out. So you should have that capacity to do. If for a person to be fixed in the spiritual consciousness, it's like you are able to withdraw your senses from sense objects. 59. But you know what? All is good in theory. But it's hard in practice. Yes or yes? Here Krishna is saying the secret of how to control your senses. 59. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate.
Though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for sense object remains. But ceasing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness.
Thank you. So one of the earliest things we find here is that when you talk of Krishna, for example, I'll tell you one example. When you eat Krishna Prasadam, and for those who are coming for the first time, we have a full-fledged dinner afterwards. When you eat Krishna Prasadam, slowly, the tongue experiences a taste that is little different. And later on, other food items might not be that appealing or palatable anymore. It just naturally goes. It's not like you strive in a very, very, sometimes you have to, because there might be past impressions of that food that might come about, and you may occasionally be tempted. But then, it's like, there's not much taste, because Krishna Prasadam is nice. So if you experience a higher taste, then it's easier to give up lower taste. But if you don't experience that higher taste, then you will be always clinging on to the lower taste. And Krishna is saying this because as a soul or Atma, I have the capacity to experience the highest bliss. and in association with Krishna. And that is the purpose of this verse. Unless you experience it, the lower taste remains strong. So if one does one sadhana, then when one gets higher taste, it's easier to give up. Otherwise, there will be a constant struggle with the senses. The moment you say to the sense, don't think of it or don't eat this, the first thing you'll do is eat that. Yes or yes? Yeah. And it gets stuck in the mind till it is done. Mind is like constantly, now, I need it now. And it's like, oh my God. And yes, text 60. More questions? Actually, we'll try to complete the verses. There are only 12 more, and then we can take questions. We have about 10 more minutes. We should stop technically at 3, but we started a little late, so we get a grace of 10-15 minutes. Text 60. Yatato hyapi kaunteya purushasya vipaschitaha indriyani pramathini haranti prasabham manaha.
The senses are so strong and impetuous, O Arjuna, that they forcibly carry away the mind, even of a man of discrimination who is endeavoring to control them.
Thank you. Text 61. Tani sarvani samyamya yukta asita matparaha vashehi yasyendriyani tasya prajna pratishtita.
One who restrains his senses, keeping them under full control, and fixes his consciousness upon me, is known as a man of steady intelligence.
Thank you. Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha sangasteshu upajayate sangat sanjayate kamaha kamat krodho bhijayate.
While contemplating the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment for them, and from such attachment, lust develops, and from lust, anger arises.
Thank you. Next verse. Krodhat bhavati sammoha sammohat smriti vibhramaha smritir bhramshad buddhinasho buddhinashat pranashyati.
From anger, complete delusion arises, and from delusion, bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost, and when intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the material pool.
Thank you. Did any of you experience this particular strange phenomena? You go no, the point I was trying. I'll thank you for the candid comment. I really appreciate it. But you go to a shopping site. You like few items. You should I buy? Not buy? It's nice. It's not nice. And you add it to the shopping cart, and then you. It's okay. You know what happened? Something happens. You like go. And then you go to a newspaper or a news website. Do you see that thing flashing there, the one that you just saw? Yes? So, sorry? You do that as work. I used to do that at work. So here, if you are contemplating on those objects, the modern marketing has an expert way of tracking what you like and making sure they make it visible in front of you so you don't forget it. So Krishna is saying that this is the path that my eyes see an object, then my mind starts meditating on that object. Oh, that is so nice. I wish I have that too. It's really, really nice. Oh my God. And then from that, dhyayato vishan pumsa sangaste shubhajayate. Sanga sanjayate kama. After attachment comes a kind of, the word kama is used, and kama technically means lust. But please understand, it's nothing to do with just man and women lust. It is anything that your mind is seriously burning to obtain. For example, you have heard the phrase lust for power, lust for money. So it is just anything that your mind wants to acquire. And at that state, the mind is saying, if I get this, my life will be perfect. Not knowing the fact that if you don't get it, will you be happy? No, you'll be angry. From lust comes anger. If you get it also, sometimes you'll be angry. Like, oh my God, why did I buy this? It was looking so nice in the website. Now it looks so horrible. Yes or yes? Oh, that advertisement showed this couple going nicely in the car. And they were smiling and laughing. Now I bought the car. I'm stuck with this horrible bills and there's a quality problem. Anger will come anyways. This path is a sure way to get anger, one way or other. So Krishna is saying that this is the way. Watch out how the senses slowly creep in to say this. And then krodhat bhavati sammoha smriti vibhraha. The knowledge is lost, memory is lost, and delusion and complete fall down. 64. Let's do all the verses and then we'll take questions in the end if you have time. Ragadvesha vimuktaistu Vishayan indriyaischaran Atma vashair vidheyatma Prasadam adhigacchati.
But a person free from all attachment and aversion and able to control his senses through regulative principles of freedom can obtain the complete mercy of the Lord.
Thank you. Text 65, our famous verse. Prasade sarva dukkhanam hanirasyopajayate prasanna chetaso hyashu buddhi paryavatishtate.
For one thus satisfied in Krishna consciousness, the threefold miseries of material existence exist no longer. In such satisfied consciousness, one's intelligence is soon well established.
Thank you. Nasti buddhira yuktasya nacha yuktasya bhavana nacha bhavayata shantir ashantasya kutas sukham.
One who is not connected with the Supreme in Krishna consciousness can have neither transcendental intelligence nor a steady mind, without which there is no possibility of peace. And how can there be any happiness without peace?
That's a nice verse, right? If people are seeking happiness, but unless the mind is kind of satisfied, it's impossible to find happiness. You might have all the wealth in the planet, but you will be completely miserable. Take it from me. Text 67. Indriyanam hi charatam yanmano nuvidhiyate tadasya harati prajnam vayurnavamivambhasi.
As a strong wind sweeps away a boat on the water, even one of the roaming senses on which the mind focuses can carry away a man's intelligence.
Thank you. Text 68. Tasmad yasya mahabaho nigrahitani sarvashah indriyanindriyartebhyas tasya prajna pratishtita.
Therefore, O mighty armed, one whose senses are restrained from their objects is certainly of steady intelligence.
Okay, Kennedy, please do the next one, and then we can just swip it there, just for the time's sake. Yanisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagarti samyami yasyam jagrati bhutani sanisha pashyato mune.
What is night for all beings is the time of awakening for the self-controlled, and the time of awakening for all beings is night for the introspective sage.
All right, 70 Shweta, 71 Shweta, and 72 is Vicky. Okay, let's. This is a different beat. I think I wish we could discuss this. I'll leave it with the humor. We are spiritualists doesn't mean that we are awake all night long and sleep all day long. I'll leave it at that. Text 70. It's a different beat, but we can do it. Apuryamanam achala pratishtam samudramapa pravishanti yadvad tadvad kamayam pravishanti sarve sashantim apnoti na kama kami.
A person who is not disturbed by the incessant flow of desires that enter like rivers into the ocean, which is ever being filled but is always still, can alone achieve peace, and not the man who strives to satisfy such desires.
And don't tell this to the consumerist society, they will cry. It's like the whole consumer movement is somehow or other, chase, fulfill your desires. But Krishna is saying, nope. He's giving full permission, don't follow that pattern. Vihaya kaman yas sarvan pumams charati nispruha nirmamo nirahankaraha sashantim adhigacchati.
A person who has given up all desires for sense gratification, who lives free from desires, who has given up all sense of proprietorship and is devoid of false ego, he alone can attain real peace.
Okay, last one. One of you can read, please. Esha brahmi stiti partha nainam prapya vimuhyati stitva syamanta kalepi Brahma nirvana mrichati.
That is the way of the spiritual and godly life, after attaining which a man is not bewildered. If one is thus situated even at the hour of death, one can enter into the kingdom of God.
So here you can see in the second chapter the results of whatever Krishna mentioned. I'm so sorry that we had to go till 3:20. You'll still get a 10-minute break before the Sunday feast begins. But if there are more questions, please write them down or send them on WhatsApp, and we'll try to answer in the next class as well. But any last burning urgent question that you have to ask, otherwise you can't sleep tonight. Don't open that can of worms. If not, then I will meet all of you next year, because this will be the last class for this year, and I wish you all a happy New Year 2024. And thank you for allowing me a chance to serve you this year, and I'll see you all next year. Vansha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha.